Good night, everybody. Good night, my audience. I would like to have a lovely discussion with you guys. I think this is a blog that's been long awaited. I've probably recorded, I don't know, 4 or 5 different versions of it, whether it be in my car or wherever the case may be, but I think that it's best if I just keep this very short and simple. Actually, it may not end up being short and simple because there's different dynamics of it. To set the stage, we have an overall equation here. In my eyes, this is something that my girlfriend and I came up with after we sat back and analyzed how relationships go and how things work and how things should work. Now, there's an equation, and I'm just going to call it an equation because it's the only word I can really think of to fit right now. Hook, line, sinker. That's the equation. In the sense of when you meet somebody, the initial attraction, that those first few conversations, whether it's going out for a drink or whatever the case may be, that first few days, few weeks, that's the hook. That's what is attracting you to that person. It's drawing you in. Then we came up with the idea that after the hook, because of the fishing idea, there's more fish in the sea, Steve Harvey's Kiefer fish and sports fish. So yes, so there's a hook, and then there's a line. The line is the getting to know each other in depth. That is the, I wouldn't call it the structure of building a relationship, but it's where you're figuring out whether or not you would like to continue to get to know each other and if you'd like this to progress into more. Now, the line phase can be a pretty long period of time, depending on the people, depending on what's happening, etc. But the line phase is one of the most crucial phases because that's where you get to know whether or not this is somebody that you would like to continue talking to and or possibly start a relationship with. So the line phase is a necessity. Now, after the line phase is passed and everything like that, the hook that's already sunk in, reeled him in, then there's the sinker, and the sinker is like the deal sealer. The sinker is the sex, and I think before I didn't have the whole 3-month view, and I was a little against it. I wouldn't say against it, but I was more on the, well, if you know, the vibe is right and everybody feels like it's okay, then go ahead. But now I realize that if that's the case and you haven't had the hook phase and you haven't had, or you've had a partial hook phase and you haven't had the line phase, to go for the sinker, that's guaranteed to drown the relationship or drown this whole, we'll just call it a relationship even though it may not be that, because clearly if somebody's going straight for the sex, it's not necessarily going to blossom into some marriage-filled relationship, right? Right, because clearly they're just after one thing, which is the sex. So I think these things, that phase, that stage, that equation is crucial in order to have the beginning of a successful relationship or a relationship at all. And I'm not talking about friends with benefits because I don't really see that as a relationship. I just see that as casual sex with somebody you can chill with. So yeah, moving on. Now we're going to talk about how it is to attract the right person into your life. Now, women are always saying, oh, there's no good men out there, this and that. Every guy I meet, it's the same shit over and over. And we constantly have these bickering and bitch fests with our girlfriends and talk about how all men are dogs. Now, that I used to do as well. I no longer do that because I now have a good man in my life. But in order for me to be ready for him, I had to learn my love lesson, and I'm going to call them love lessons. Now, I think everybody has a love lesson to learn, and once you learn that love lesson, you have now opened up that door to receive that, quote, good man that is out there for you, because he does exist, and I'm telling you he does now. So, The best way, I believe, to find your love lesson is to take a minute, think about all the past and failed relationships. Mackie, shh. Can you hear Mackie? So comfortable. So think about all your past relationships, failed, the ones that were semi-good, mediocre, whatever. The point is they're all over, and they're all over for a reason. So try and think of what the common denominator, aside from you, is within all those relationships. What was that issue? What was that problem that made you say that person wasn't a good man? And I think once you find that, you can start to look inside yourself and say, what are these issues? What are these problems trying to show me? Because there's a message behind what it is these issues are trying to show you. Just like they say, everybody comes in, like nobody, you'll never meet somebody that doesn't have a purpose for being in your life. And I believe that. I believe all these failed relationships, these quote bad men, were put into your life to teach you the love lesson that it is you need to learn. And chances are, if you look at the common denominator, it will be the same for all of them, because there's a particular lesson that you need to learn as a woman in order to prepare yourself to be ready for that good man that will treat you right. For example, let's use me for example, seeing as how I'm doing the blog and it's easier to do that way. My love lesson, was to learn that I am worth, deserve, should expect, demand, request, and never settle for less than being absolute number one priority. Now, that doesn't mean that I want a man to forget his family, his job, etc., and only pay attention to me and only me, but what it is to get rid of that saying, never make somebody a priority that makes you an option. It's to ensure that I never become an option, because for the longest while I was allowing myself to be an option. I was settling to be an option when I am, like a lottery prize, basically. Like, one in how many billion, how many people are on this planet? There's only one of me. So that's pretty friggin' special, and I think women need to realize that about themselves. So in order for me to learn that lesson, I had a lot of guys in my life that put me second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth, or just not even on the totem pole altogether. So I think each one of those people are teaching you a lesson or showing you a piece of a lesson, and then you have the person to seal that lesson in, who basically gives you your pop quiz or final exam, essentially. And that person is going to be the one person that, how do I say this? That opens your eyes to your newly learned lesson. So once you have figured out that problem and that light bulb turns on and you say, oh my god, like this has been the problem all this time, and you know now, so you can now change it, that last person to break the camel's back is your lesson teacher, I guess you could say. The last guy I was talking to was my lesson teacher. Now that I've learned my lesson from him, moved on from him, bettered myself from him, and applied the lessons learned from him and the others, I have now opened the door and have allowed a good man, a real man, a compassionate man into my life. So, and I've never been happier, to be honest with you. So I think that's what ladies need to do. You guys need to stop for a minute, look at yourselves. What is the lesson that you need to learn in order for you to receive that good man that you are waiting for? Because it's not that they're not out there. It's because you have not learned your love lesson as of yet. And until you learn that love lesson, you will continuously have failed bad relationships and have bad men come into your life. So I think you really need to, as soon as possible, as expeditiously as possible, figure out what it is in your life that is that common factor between you and those failed relationships. What is that trying to teach you? What is the lesson you need to learn? Is it you need to value yourself more? Is it you need to learn that you don't need a man to validate you? What is it? Figure it out, and then you'll be able to receive your good man. So please comment, share your comments, any questions, whatever the case may be. Hook, line, sinker, don't forget it, all that jazz. And find who's right for you by searching within you.